Hello everybody! Did I ever mention ginger ale is my favorite soda? Okay, so today you guys are getting another review. This is kind of a last minute thing. I hadn't planned on doing this, but I initially hadn't planned on picking this book up. But then I saw it and calculated that it would only cost me like $5-6 to get, so I couldn't resist. And the book in question is The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. This is a very interesting book. It's really cinematic to me in that it takes place over the course of pretty much exactly 24 hours. And it tells the story of a girl named Hadley Sullivan who's going to London for her father's marriage. Her parents, it's established, separated and then divorced after her father went over to Oxford on a teaching kind of scholarship thing to go and teach, and eventually fell in love with someone else. So she's going to his marriage to this woman who she's never met and whom, she's decided she hates, and she's obviously very angry at her dad, and there's lots of things that are going on. She's having a rough time of it. And to make matters worse, she misses her plane by 4 minutes. She's late by 4 minutes. They don't let her on the plane and it takes off. So she has to get on to the next flight. In comes Oliver, the obviously romantic interest of this book. He's a British young man who's on his own way to London and happens to have the seat next to her on this flight to London, and basically the entire way over they talk, kind of share their commonalities, really get to know each other, and basically when they get to Heathrow, they kiss, but then lose sight of each other. And I was like totally devastated because I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Luckily for me, they meet again in different circumstances over the course of 24 hours in London, and this was just charming. It really was just so charming. I mean, you go into this book, you know exactly how it's going to end up. There's no real surprises. But I kind of didn't care. I really didn't. Not in terms of the romance. If there was anything that sort of bugged me, it's the aspect of her relationship with their dad. Did I want them to patch up? Yes. Do I think it felt kind of rushed and forced? Yeah. On the plus side, the bit with her and Oliver was so cute that I couldn't resist. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, what I'm looking at here is just a really charming book. Predictable, cute, and just kind of full of this enthusiasm. Plus it takes place in London, so I'm totally partial to it. I can't resist. So definitely go and check this book out. It'll definitely remind you of those books like Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, anything along that kind of quirky romantic line. If you like those, this is the book for you. What? The camera is still rolling? What is this nonsense? So I decided I would show you guys the books that I got recently beside that one. At least a few of them. Including the next book that I'm reading, which is The Archived by Victoria Schwab. If I like this book, I will then, of course, pick up the second book in the series, which is coming out soon, and then I will then hope to get Vicious by her, because I hear it's really, really good. I really want to read it, you guys. I hope I like this book. It's like surprisingly heavy for something that's so thin. Next book I have is The Almost Girl by Emily Howard. I saw this on the shelf and the cover was so cool and the concept so awesome. Essentially what you have is a cyborg android war that occurs, and our lead character named Riven is the right-hand gal of the prince, and he sends her off in search of his long-lost brother who's on modern-day Earth, and she has to kind of like work her way around modern-day Earth. Very fish out of water kind of story. It looks like it'll be fun. Next I have an advanced read, and that is The Rebel Pirate by Donna Thorland. This is a historical adventure novel taking place in 1775 in Boston, so it's like the Boston Tea Party and the Revolutionary War, and I'm so excited. So my favorite bit of American history is pretty much Pre-colonialism through the War of 1812. That's kind of my favorite block of American history. Anyway, this is about a young girl named Sarah Ward, who's the daughter of a very notorious pirate, how she kind of gets swept up in all this stuff in Boston. Alright, next book I got was actually in the bargain section, so it's got that on it, and that is The Ice Princess by Camilla Lockberg. This is a Swedish crime thriller novel. It's actually translated by the guy who did the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo books and translated those into English. This is obviously a female writer, but whatever the case, it is about a woman named Erica Falk who has just lost her parents, and she moves back to her old Swedish hometown, and when she's there, her old childhood friend appears to have committed suicide, but Erica suspects foul play, and it's her delving into the mystery of her old friend's death. It looks really kind of creepy and, no pun intended, totally chilling. The last book I have for you guys is The Sun and Other Stars by Bridget Basulka. This is another advanced read that I got. It is about a young man named Eto who loses his mother and brother kind of really suddenly, and it appears to be his sort of coming of age through a quarter-life crisis novel because he's like 22, but it's set in the Italian Riviera. Italy, you guys. It just makes everything better. So these are the books I am hopefully going to be reading next, outside of Into the Still Blue when it comes out, at which point I will do a series review of the Under the Never Sky trilogy. But until next time, cheers you guys.